Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 64 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother season 27. A good, what is it, Tuesday, Wednesday? A good Wednesday to all of y'all. Yeah, I should know that. We had the big episode on CBS last night. I know some of y'all didn't watch it, but some did. Let's talk about that before we get into the live feeds real quick, because it was we'll just call it the Rachel sacrifice issue. First, I always would prefer an eviction that involves nominations and votes. That's what Big Brother is all about. But having said that, I also feel a bit better about the way everything went down after I saw that episode. Yes, it was tough. I feel sorry for Rachel, but there was that initial sliding competition that was fair for anyone. Anyone could have won. Anyone could have won safety. Then we had the picking of who went in what order. So there was a social component involved as well. And then finally, you had the competition itself, which Rachel, I think, could have easily won. She just didn't know how to manipulate that maze. She couldn't make it happen. In all honesty, Rachel wanted to go first. I think if Rachel had gone first, if she had gotten her way, I'm still not sure she would have solved the puzzle. She got frazzled. Sometimes it happens. This is Caitlin Herman puzzle part two in a lot of ways. I don't think the time mattered that much for Rachel. So yeah, I understand, but certainly there's a lot. Rachel was directly responsible for the way some of the things went down. So again, I would prefer to have votes, campaigning, eviction, nominations, things like that. It didn't happen, but again, I am feeling a little bit better about the way it went down. I still feel sorry for Rachel that she didn't get a better send off, but hey, expect the unexpected. All right, as far as Rachel and Armgate, remember Ava is so upset that she grabbed her arm. I do see Ava's point to some degree. Don't come at me because I said that, but I do see her point to some degree. Now, would it have been that big a deal to me if someone had grabbed my arm like that? Probably not, but I can see a lot of people getting upset if they're grabbed like that and kind of pulled into the room the way they are. And I do think Rachel was a little bit over the top in the way she did that and in dragging her in. I know Keanu called her out and everything, limited amount of time, and I think you've got to be a little more respectful of the person who has the power, which is Ava. But it is what it is. I mean, people feeling desperate at that point in time, and Rachel does what she needs to do to try to win the game. But yeah, I kind of see both sides on that. All right, do you know who I think was the worst at that whole thing, or in the just worst in terms of decisions and all that? Vince. No, not Rachel, not Ava. Vince. I just feel like Vince. I understand why he picked Lauren. I suppose I understand he wanted to protect his ally. He figured she was gone if he didn't pick her right then. So I get that part, and maybe it does make sense for him to protect her because she is an ally to him and all that. But he did so at the risk of the entire Judges Alliance, the rest of the House, by being so outright forthcoming, I suppose, in picking Lauren after having so many people saying, please don't do it, don't do it. If I'm a member of the Judges Alliance, I have zero trust in Vince. Now, maybe I work with him as long as it's appropriate or it helps me, but I'm not trusting that guy further than I can throw him. I would have been so upset if I was Morgan, Rachel, Will, Ashley, any of them. I just think he should have burned bridges. Maybe he didn't, but yeah, I think Vince did not come off looking good in the way he went through that. All right, real quick on that. Let's go real quickly through the feeds. And I'm going to rush through this real quick. There's some conversation, just a lot of pitching campaigning going on, but we're going to go through them quick. Kelly and Lauren talking, Kelly mentioning that Keanu wants Will gone this week. Yet again, as a way to minimize Lauren's resume, thinks that Will going home is the worst possible resume builder that Lauren could possibly have. So that reason alone, he wants Will out the door. Kelly is talking about Ashley. She wants Ashley gone. She's saying, Ashley was just carried by Rachel this season. I think she says something like, right, Ashley's just been treated like a big baby by Rachel. She's just been carried. I want her gone. So Keanu wants Will gone. Kelly wants Ashley gone. And that's kind of the theme throughout the evening as they're talking about who might go. Here's the deal. If Keanu is still on the block, I think it's pretty much a slam dunk. Keanu goes home. If it's Will versus Ashley in a vote, not so much. All right, we got Morgan telling Vince that Keanu wants to keep Ashley over Will. They're going over different scenarios with her M&Ms. Of course they are. Morgan is thinking that Keanu wants to keep Ashley. Ava wants to keep Will. Kelly will keep Will because she dislikes Ashley so much. And she's saying, you know what that means, Vince? You and I could be the swing votes determining who goes home if it's between Ashley and Will. They're wondering if maybe thinking ahead, worried that they could get put on the block by Keanu if he does survive. They're wondering if maybe they should tell Keanu about some of the stuff Kelly has been saying behind his back. And maybe as by doing that, they could get Keanu to target Kelly instead of the two of them. Not sure if that would work, but they're trying to think what they can do going forward. All right, we've got Morgan talking to Keanu. Morgan is thinking that Kelly would put her and Vince and Ashley up if he is still here. Or if Kelly's still here. Well, Kelly's not going anywhere. So this is our bad. Yeah, Morgan thinking that Kelly would put her, Vince, and Ashley up if she got HOH. Keanu doesn't think that Kelly would nominate or renominate himself, even though he's seeing maybe a little disconnect. He doesn't think that she would go after Keanu because he thinks that Kelly would be too worried about Keanu surviving a blockbuster, a vote, etc. And what that would do, what he would do to Kelly if that was to happen. He does say, I love Kelly. I'd like to take her to the final three. So yeah, he's thinking that Kelly, even if there is a little bit of division between them, she won't go after him. He's still thinking he'd like to take her to the final three. So Keanu, always the optimist. He figures he can repair anything that may have happened. He's again telling Morgan that if she saves Keanu on Thursday, it's just a way for her to destroy Lauren's game. He knows that she wants to get Lauren out as much as he does. So he's saying, if you save me, you know, not only will I help get out Lauren, but it absolutely destroys her resume as well. Morgan is worried that Ava and Kelly and Lauren could be a final three. They just keep getting closer together. Both of them agreeing that they want Lauren out, that she is target number one for both Morgan and Keanu. Keanu again saying, look, I'm voting to save Ashley at this point. I'm sending out Will just to try to hurt Lauren's HOH. All right, we've got Keanu and Ava talking just a little bit. Keanu's saying that if he gets HOH, he'll make sure that Vince or Morgan goes next week. Again, when he's talking to Ava, he leaves out that Lauren is his big target. He's trying to mislead a little bit by saying, yeah, Vince and Morgan, yeah, y'all are all good. You don't have to worry about anything, Ava. All right, we've got Ava and Will talking. Ava's saying if she wins HOH, she is nominating Morgan, but that her real target is going to be Keanu and Vince. She's telling Will, I told Morgan I'm not targeting her, and she says I'm not. Doesn't mean I won't put her on the block, but my targets are Keanu and Vince. All right, we got Morgan talking to Ashley. Morgan is telling Ashley that she never told Will that she was 100% keeping him. She's saying that after the nomination ceremony, and again, she's talking to Ashley, who's on the block. She's saying after the nomination ceremony, Vince and I really thought that Will had the votes pretty much no matter what. So, of course, we're kind of, offering support to Will and all that. And she's saying, but now, Ashley, that it looks like there's, some possibilities. I'm gonna have a hard conversation with Will. And again, I never promised 100% I was going to keep him. So, Ashley, yeah, just take that for what you will. Morgan is saying that she's going to explain to Will why Ashley maybe would be better for her game to keep Ashley over Will. And Ashley's saying, well, maybe tell him that now. Don't wait till Thursday. Go ahead and tell him that. Morgan is saying that Vince is obviously her number one. She's not trying to hide that, but that Ashley is her number two. So obviously she wants to keep Ashley if there's any chance at all that she can do so. And she's saying, now the problem is you're my number two, but Vince's number two is Lauren, and that's creating a lot of friction. Yes, indeed it is. All right, Will joins the conversation during this at one point. Morgan is complaining about how much time Vince spent with Lauren today. At one point, she says, I spent like 2 hours with him. He spent like 6 hours with Lauren. So Morgan's keeping track. Morgan is saying that the only way Vince realizes how bad he is treating Morgan is if Ashley or Will tells him that he won't listen to her. Morgan is saying that she's going to gun for HOH just because she wants Lauren on the block so badly. She's saying Kelly's going to go up also, but Lauren is who I want on the block, who I want out the door. She wants to try, and not just that, she wants Lauren on the block, but she wants to force Vince to make the choice, to make the vote that sends Lauren out the door. Yeah, she's pushing it 100%. She says, and not only do I want to force Vince to make the pick, but she says, I'm going to be watching Vince, and I'm going to make sure that he doesn't comfort Lauren while she's on the block, because he sure as heck didn't comfort me while I was on the block. So I've got to be paying attention to it. I tell you what, this is coming to a head. Probably not this week, but next week I think it's going to be interesting. We just see it setting up. Lauren and Morgan and both of them fighting for Vince. It's crazy world in Big Brother. All right, Lauren is getting worried about Keanu continuing this narrative that her HOH is going to be a failure. She's telling Vince that, hey, if Will goes home, it would still be an okay HOH for me since Will has such a good social game. So it would still be a successful HOH for me. Vince is saying that Keanu and Morgan will probably keep Ashley. Kelly and Ava will probably vote to keep Will, which just conveniently makes Vince the swing vote at this point. Vince thinks that it might make more sense to keep Will. Lauren, as decisive as always, says, I don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Will, Ash, I just don't know. We know you don't know. All right, Lauren and Kelly and Ava are in the backyard. The backyard is still open, which is interesting. Normally you lose it earlier now, but the backyard is still open. They're around a hammock. They're talking about if they stick together, even if they were to lose one member coming up, they still have the other two. And remember, 3-2 is going to be the vote this week. After this week, 2 votes at the minimum creates a tie. So they're saying even if someone, we lose someone, we still got 2 votes. We can control a lot of things. So as long as is only one of us on the block, hopefully we would be okay. All right, we've got Ava and Kelly and Lauren in the backyard. I think I just mentioned that. Ava's thinking Kelly will put up Vince and Morgan. Lauren and Ava and Kelly can then make sure that Lauren is safe. Is saying, hey, even if Keanu does put you up, Lauren, alongside Vince and Morgan, we'll keep you safe. We got the votes to make that happen. Kelly says that she would then want Vince out. Lauren, of course, is saying, well, I'd want to get out Morgan. So yeah, if they get to that point, they'll have to have some conversations. All right, we've got Ashley and Will talking about how much time Morgan spends in the diary room, even though she isn't on the block or the HOH. Morgan's involved in a lot of different storylines right now, isn't she? So of course she's spending time in the diary room. People pay attention to that. Everyone is watching. During my season, Tommy Bracco kept track of how many times every person went into the diary room, how long they spent in there. Yeah, people pay attention to this kind of stuff, and they're definitely paying attention to Morgan going into the diary room. Ashley is thinking that Morgan needs to be careful because if she loses Vince's support, if they pull apart from each other, that Morgan is probably gone. That Morgan is a little reliant on Vince right now in this house. She thinks that Vince is starting to push Morgan away a little bit in favor of Lauren, is the way that she's seeing it happen. Ashley is saying that if she gets a chance, she's going to vote out Vince over Morgan because she feels like Morgan really relies on Vince for everything, and she's not going to win Big Brother if Vince isn't there to give her additional support. Ashley at one point is calling Vince the biggest liar in the house. Right about the same time, Ava is calling Keanu the biggest liar in the house. So yeah, we got a lot of liars in this house. All right, we've got Lauren and Ava talking. Lauren is saying that Will won't say if he's voting out Will or Ashley. He keeps just saying he's 50-50 on these two. If Keanu wins Blockbuster, it comes down to Will or Ashley. She's saying, yeah, he just won't tell me. He just got 50-50. I don't know. Ava's hoping that she's saying, look, if Will goes home, I'm okay with that. I just hope that he's not blindsided. I hope he's aware ahead of time. I don't want to see him blindsided. Even if he goes home, just don't want to see him blindsided. Lauren is worried about what's going to happen after this week. She's saying, Keanu, if he survives if he wins Blockbuster and survives, I'm worried that people are going to team up with him to get me out. And obviously that's not good at all. Ava said, well, I don't know about everyone else. Morgan would definitely team up with Keanu. You got a couple of people would be coming for you. And Ava saying, look, Morgan's going to come after you, Lauren, just because she's jealous. Just because she's jealous of you and Vince. So yeah, Keanu's going to come after you. Morgan's going to come after you. We'll try to protect you. Not sure about the rest of the house, but those two, yeah, don't try to hide it. Ava's saying that she and Kelly and Lauren, she's saying, oh, look, I think we can make at least the top 5. I think the 3 of us are good. Again, they talked earlier that we can protect each other as long as only one of us is on the block. So she's saying, I really think that the 5 of us, it's just in my gut. We're going to make it to the top 5. Ava is saying that even Kelly is okay with Keanu going at this point. So hopefully he goes home on Thursday, but if not, he remains the biggest target in this house. Lauren is again saying that Will going home is not a failed HOH. She's worried about that. All right. We got Keanu talking to Ashley while Vince is right there in the room. They're talking. Keanu is saying that Kelly promised her vote to save Will. He's telling Ashley that, hey, because of that, you need to talk to Morgan and Vince about their votes. Well, again, Vince is right there, but saying you need to talk to two of them because you're going to need their votes going forward. Ashley is saying that Morgan is keeping her, that she feels comfortable about that. So, in other words, hey, Vince, Morgan's keeping me. What about you? They're talking about Ava and Lauren and Kelly getting so close. And when did that happen? And so they're recognizing that. Keanu's saying that they have to get one of them out next week. Those three have become too tight as a trio. Ashley is telling Keanu that he needs to separate himself from Kelly. As they get closer, Keanu needs to be aware of that. After Vince is gone, Keanu says, look, I want to split Morgan and Vince. We need to split them. Yeah, the trio is dangerous, but we need to split up Morgan and Vince also. So it sounds like Keanu, Lauren, Morgan, and Vince could be his targets if he survives, wins HOH. Ashley is saying that Kelly wants to split up the duo. Also, Morgan and Vince wants to split them up also. So it's not just Keanu who's seeing Morgan and Vince as a dynamic duo, so to speak. All right, Keanu and Vince are talking just a little bit. Keanu's saying his ideal final three would be Vince, Kelly, and himself. Vince is saying, yeah, I'm fine with that. I agree with that completely. Of course you do. As you should. Don't ever tell anyone that you don't like a final three that includes your name in there. All right, up in the HOH room, we got a little sleepover that's going to take place, but we've got Ava talking to Lauren. Ava's telling Lauren that she thinks Ashley wants to get out Keanu and then probably go right after Kelly afterwards. Ava's pretty sure that Ashley has been lying to Keanu and promising things to him to get his vote come Thursday. Ava's telling Ashley that she wants her to stay. She wants Ashley to stay. She wants Will to stay as well. So in other words, Keanu needs to go at this point. Ava's talking about Morgan still being upset that Vince picked Lauren last Thursday night. Ava's saying that, hey, Morgan was crying because Vince didn't spend enough time with her today and spent too much time with Lauren. Lots of non-game talk as they continue the sleepover afterwards, but that was the crux of the game talk conversation. Then finally, we've got Vince and Morgan. Now, earlier, Morgan had said, hey, don't take it the wrong way, but I may call it a little bit earlier night this evening, but they still managed to wrap up the evening. Vince is telling Morgan that he might keep Will if it comes down to Will versus Ashley, that he really likes Will. He's asking at one point, Morgan says, are you mad at me? Are you annoyed with me? Well, you should be, Morgan. My words, not Vince's, but he's asking her about that. Morgan said, look, there's just things going on. She's talking about Vince spending so much time with Keanu and certainly with Lauren. She's talking about saying, look, it's not just that you're spending time with Lauren, but you're spending so much time with her after all the things that she did to me. And she starts listing some of those out. She's saying that Vince is saying, look, she's saying, you obviously have Lauren as your ally. She'd protect you. You've got her in the house and all that. Vince is saying, well, you've got Ashley and Will. Either one of them would choose you over me. So we each have people that maybe would. It's just part of the game. And Morgan is saying that here's the deal. You and I are in an alliance with each other, and yet you're out there playing pool with Lauren. And Vince is saying, well, if I hadn't, they asked me to play pool. If I'd said no, it would have looked weird. I have to keep up, the pretenses and all of that. And so that's why I did it. Morgan's paying attention to absolutely everything at this point in time. She's saying, look, everyone Vince thinks that is saying that you're making all of Lauren's decisions, that you're basically just running Lauren and here's Lauren coming after me. And there's just some things going on, Vince. It continues on from that point. Very little game talk, just about their relationship and going forward and how they can work together. And separating personal from gameplay and just on it. Y'all know we've heard it over and over again, but the same old thing. Yes, there is gameplay components to it. There is also just personal relationships and jealousy components all rolled into one. They talk about it for a while. I'll just finish up with the end of the conversation. Morgan saying, I love you too, Vince. So yeah, they finish off proclaiming sweet nothings to each other, and it could be sweet nothings. Maybe not so much. I think there's something behind it. But anyway, there you go. So they finally wrap it up about 4:00 or so, calling it a night, lights out, and there you have it, guys. So the main thing is that it still seems like Keanu goes home if he doesn't win Blockbuster. If not, there's more and more movement to potentially get out Will over Ashley. But based on what we've heard from Vince, I think it's probably a little more likely that Ashley would head out over Will. We'll find out. We've got one more day of campaigning today and tonight, and then we'll see what happens with the eviction tomorrow. Guys, have a fantastic Wednesday. I'll be back tomorrow morning to give you another update. Until then, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.